The other thing why I'm also you've set me into my head is also you can imagine like the way we look and the way we speak. There are some people who really enjoyed giving us less.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's not something that's discussed as much. But like we could tell as we were coming up that there's sometimes when they know that you're headed somewhere and you're on a trajectory, and some clients are like yeah, give them less. Just I don't know why though. There was that experience. There was an experience we had where we literally were fighting for 2,000 shillings, and I actually asked like
$2,000,
no
shillings,
just 2,000 shillings.
Okay, you'll tell me after. But okay,
2,000 shillings. Remember when we were fighting for an increment of 2K on a contract?
Yes. It gets like that. It gets like that. You're in the trenches.
Like you're like, why is it that this figure, it's so small, like for them it's nothing. Why is it that they feel the need to like put us down? But now
I'll be honest, like that bias is something I felt on my personal brand as well. Like being ostracized for no reason. Well, there is reason, but like that kind of thing where I'd rather give this to somebody else because it looks like you're good.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
Yeah, it looks like you're good.
I don't know what it was. Like for me, it was like there are people who didn't want to get into business with us just because of how we've tried to like keep the brand as clean as possible. And I just didn't understand that, and I still don't. Like, so you don't want to work with us because you're brandable.
Yeah.
I still don't.
It's tough. Do you know, if I'm looking at L's even outside of podcasting, right? I'm looking at L's that I've sort of taken personally within podcasting and then in all the other businesses. And there's a trend that always happens that me and my mum laugh about all the time. We laugh because we do businesses together. And what I found in every single venture I've been, I said this to you yesterday, every venture, it was when we went in the parking lot, every venture, that gets to a place where everything has gone wrong for such a long period of time. You look at yourself and we laugh. You're like, this is actually ridiculous. There was a time during COVID, I can't say exactly the businesses, but at one point we were owed like a good few M from a client for one business. Other businesses were failing. There was issues with just the industry in general, import, export, and this is all happening in the same month, right? And you've got bills at the end of the month. So imagine and even our businesses back home in the UK, there was now issues with the EU. So you can imagine everything at once is going negative, right? But there's a beautiful thing that happens when you get completely to the end of the road and there's nothing left to go wrong. Somehow you'll survive that, and it always goes back up. I don't understand how, but you'll never get to the end that I've seen where there's no way out. Somehow when you hit that wall, there's nowhere further to go, so it does go up. So I'd say even if you're on a consistent trail of L's, like there's no way it gets worse. I've seen that every single time. There's no way it gets worse. Somehow something happens, someone goes, oh, we can now pay you back this, or another contract comes in. I've always seen it go back up. That's the only thing I'd say as a general trend. So even when we're laughing about Mantalk, laughing about what happens with losing contracts, I guarantee it goes back up.
Yeah, like there's that, like the thing I'm learning about entrepreneurship, because this is my first like real like progressed. I don't know. I wouldn't say progress. I'd call it more like protracted. That's the word I'm looking for. This is my first really protracted experience with entrepreneurship, which is Mantalk. And it's like sometimes you're flush. You're flush with cash. Then sometimes there's nothing. Absolutely. Especially when you start to expense things, there's absolutely nothing. So you have to, I think, even create a buffer to just. But sometimes even that buffer.
That's what I'm saying. When you get at the end I'm talking about,
the end of the road,
you've gone into that account.
The account. That's the buffer.
Back up for the buffer account.
Evangelists, I tell you, Eli. Evangelists, we are not.
I swear.
Like the buffer, even that can't handle like the financial pressure of running a podcast. And like in those moments, it's like if you push through, then you know you really want it.
100%.
Because that's 100%. Where dreams go to die. That dark place is where dreams go to die. If you make it out, then you know like I'll be here for a long time. I'll survive this.
It's always the thing is, it's always the timing. Another example, because I think COVID, a lot of people experienced this. You know, when Kenya was about to go into the lockdown, I'd gone for the other business I run is Instamarket, right? So I'd gone for a meeting with this international organization. They were like, we want you to assist in revamping this whole area to help them with markets, like, because you're really good at events and markets. the figures that we put on paper that day, we're going for meetings for like a whole week, just before and you start hearing on the news, there's COVID over here, we're like, oh, that sounds horrible, but we're still fine in Kenya, we're still good. There's rates in Africa were down, we're like, it's fine. Can you imagine, I don't know what day we went into lockdown, but it was early in the week. The weekend before, we were like, let's sign the papers on a Monday. We went into lockdown on a Wednesday, and we said, let's revisit this at the end of the week so we can see what the government's saying. It's been 2 years now since COVID. 2 years. We never revisited. Bro, if we signed that contract, that weekend ruined everything. If we signed that contract, we would have been gone clear. Like, the numbers were so dumb. It was like a year's worth of contract to like revamp a whole area in Nairobi. Bro, like, these are things I'm saying, and it happened at the same time. But somehow, so the same week that's happening, Mantalk is like, we're dropping people, we're getting no's and no's. So the timing is sometimes so ironic. Yeah. But you have to laugh.
But this is what I'm telling you. Like, it's never. This is why we work. Because like I come from and this is something like if you're doing something as a kind of side hustle and like you have a job every day. When you sit on that desk, there's that guaranteed salary that's coming in. So for you, you don't really have to. This is something now I'm learning. Yeah. Because like now we're in.
Welcome, brother. Welcome to instability.
Instability together. So because now we're doing the podcast 100%. So like one thing I'll always remember, like working like a job and doing a side hustle is like you're constantly like thinking like, don't worry about Mantalk as much.
Yeah, it's good.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Like you'll get this salary, you'll invest a little bit there. Yeah. It'll be good, don't worry. Yeah. Everything will be cool. But like when you're outside, so it's like if Mantalk doesn't produce, am I sleeping? What am I wearing? What is the electricity bill? What's gonna come? And you see like those.
I have to buy a bicycle.
And then the price, now you start being involved in politics. You start caring about politics. You're like, I hope that the government really reduces this price. This water. I'm telling you, Kenyan entrepreneurs are going through it. Yeah. Like we are going through it. Like and like I don't know how. I don't know. Like, I'm a freshly minted 100. Like now I'm freshly minted 100% entrepreneur. But like I'm like, hey yo, if you're running a startup wherever you are, if you're running a business wherever you are, they don't talk about the hustle enough. Man. Yeah, they don't talk. And a lot of guys are just quietly going about their business. But to be honest, as the youth, we need to figure out a way to like grow our businesses in a way that's like super sustainable. So I'm learning all these things. Now that like I'll be doing the podcast as I hopefully get to further studies, but like just the whole idea around entrepreneurship in a developing economy and in Kenya specifically is something that honestly needs a lot of work. Even as Mantalk, we need to think about ways to like empower young men and women, like to just like be able to push their businesses.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. It's definitely tough.
Might do a small business maker. I don't know. Just to help out.
I think so. But you know what's beautiful about this space, right? There's a thing that happens every time I meet other content creators, and there's a kind of honesty I have with some of them where we're kind of united in grief. We're sort of the struggle. The struggle. Everyone kind of goes, have you been paid? No. Oh my God, this has happened. And you get to actually understand that it's not just you going through it. And it's not a good thing to do with the industry, but like a lot of people are going for the same thing, and that kind of unites us, right? A beautiful thing I have is also my sister is now 100% content creation as well in the UK. And what happens with her and with myself is same thing that happens with me and you. One will be up, one will be down. But one of the things we always say to each other, well, mostly me to her, is that I always look at like my current status from a negative point of view, and I'll explain why. Because a lot of the time when you're in the situation and you're trying to get to X, right, and that's the goal. Like with us, we know exactly how much we want to make. We know the projects we want to do. We know exactly where we want to be by the end of year. And if you're here and you're constantly looking there and being like, it's very positive to look forward and plan, but if you're obsessed with like that goal, sometimes you sometimes forget the progress that's been made to where you are. Because a lot of the time we'll be like, we've just built this, it's not come through. But then sometimes we're on the phone and we're complaining about something, maybe this client, and then we have to stop. And I think I say this to you on the phone sometimes. Look at what we're complaining about. Like, look at the kind of names that are in our conversation when look at the kind of clients we're complaining about payment from and the kind of figures we're complaining about. So when you sort of stop and you look at it from a negative, like from the guy back there that was charging 10K to now, you kind of go, we're genuinely moving in the right direction. I've seen that there was this graph that I saw.
Are you seeing my face?
Turn on the freestyle.
It's about perspective. There's a graph I saw where it showed business and entrepreneurship in general. And so imagine it's like a positive correlation, right? So you're going from here and what you're expecting is to end up here. And you're moving in that direction. But as you're moving, it's up, down, it's up, down. But even the latest low is probably higher than the previous high. Yeah. So that's the kind of a perspective I always try to approach, especially when I'm talking to like my younger sister. So I encourage people to do the same thing. Like look from a negative, look at the progress you've made as you still plan for making further progress.
Yes, guys. Yeah. I do not share this man's view. But he's right. He's absolutely right. But just to balance that, I also say be pragmatic.
Yeah.
And because in business, pragmatism is important. You need to be as realistic about what the figures actually are and what, you know, as much as you're a visionary and as much as you dream about things, you must have a concrete plan as to where this money is going to come from.
Yeah.
Because like if you don't, you know, like the cash flows will come and ask you questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the business, you know, that's the thing about like finances in a business. Finances are wherewithal. Wherewithal is the ability to act. If you don't have the ability to act, then you don't have the ability to run a business.
Correct.
Plain and simple.
Correct.
And when you're running a business in the initial stages, yes, it's stressful. And a lot of people say, you know, you'll go through a lot of financial stress, but make sure that your financial plan projects actual billable things. Like you build these guys, so these guys owe you some money, so you can project those payments. And if that money doesn't come in, at least you know that's a credit that's waiting for you somewhere.
Yeah.
Like there's something somewhere on credit. So even when you're running your business, you know, like from an operational standpoint, that there's money actually coming in. The thing that I find really dangerous is sometimes there are businesses that are legitimately not working.
Yeah. And you have to realize it.
And you have to realize it. And so fail fast, fail quick. Like, you'd rather say either you're going to pivot or you're going to say, hey, this business, by the way, is not actually working.
Yeah.
Now, the danger is if you stay in a business that's not giving a yield within a certain amount of time and within a certain timeline, and that's how you've planned it. If it doesn't work, then you have to either pivot or, you know, throw your hands up, because like there's nothing worse than for a young person to be like entrapped in too much debt. You can have some debt. There are stages in our lives where we have to, but like the problem with like the whole hustle culture, entrepreneur, is that like guys in that culture don't talk about like legitimate business failures. Because you can imagine if we were still working on those projects that I was telling you about, I'd be a beekeeper.
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw you in the suit. I saw you in the suit talking to me.
I'd be a beekeeper. But you see now, because like we failed fast and we were like, I just don't think this thing is working. We counted our losses and threw our hands up. And I don't think that that's something that's in business. It's everyone is like grit. But for me, it's like, nah, B. Sometimes it's just not going to work. You're not ready for that business. Sometimes.
And you have to have the humility sometimes to understand that. And also the versatility to pivot, because a lot of the time you can be rigid. This is the only way. I have an arrogance that nothing can fail. But like sometimes it's not that you've completely failed. It's that you've come to a certain point, and in that journey there was a lesson to go, actually, let's do the same thing, but turn it left and try the same thing and then keep going. But you still end there, but maybe it wasn't linear like you predicted.
Exactly. And another thing I'd also want to like ask guys who are entrepreneurs, who are young, like something I've learned as a young entrepreneur. Evangelist. Is learn to have difficult conversations. That's something I've realized that is really, really important, especially like as a business. Like you have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to learn like to be, I'm financially low. I'll figure how I live my life. When the money comes, I'll put in savings, I'll put everything back where it should be. but like I need to be able to negotiate better. I need to be, like, you have to learn to be uncomfortable, even with conversations, even with how you live your life.
Yeah.
If you're the type of person who's like, I just want to be easy. I just, I don't want too much. I don't think that running a business is for you, because like you'll have a lot of sleepless nights where you don't even know. As much as you might have a plan and an overlay, you might, like, when you're in that place, like I said, that place I told you, where dreams go to die.
The sunken place.
Yes, where you look around and there's nothing. God. Goodness.
An abyss.
You're in the abyss. Like, you have to learn to be comfortable there, in that place where ideas and dreams go to die. And you have to be comfortable. If you have a team and you're leading people, you have to be comfortable saying, guys, at this point, we're under stress. And like, we need to work.
Yeah.
So we need to work in a certain way so that we can get certain outcomes. And sometimes those conversations can be difficult, but I think it's necessary for you to grow and get into the next level.
Yeah. There's, I think we'll end on this. This is one of my favorite quotes in the world. I believe Denzel Washington said it, but he got it from one of his pastors, right? And I'll try and remix it because I can't remember the exact wording, but it says, on the road to success, you must apply consistency and commitment. And because he says, because without consistency, without commitment, you'll never start. And without consistency, you'll never finish.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that having something like that is something I've applied multiple times. Like, if you just keep going, keeping your eyes open and keep moving and being committed to it day after day, even when it's like a bit bad, you will get to the end result. It might not be the same journey you expected, but you will get to the same result. That's one of my favorite quotes from Denzel. Well, from his pastor, anyway.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about business quote, but like I said, I am a big believer in failing fast and pivoting quickly. I'm a huge believer.
Yeah.
As much as you might say you're gonna, you want to be as consistent and you have a vision and a plan, make sure that vision and a plan, you do not engage in wishful thinking. Yeah. Wishful thinking is a big enemy of business. If you're not going to read the numbers as what they are, and you're not going to say, hey, by the way, we need to do something, we need to improve something, we need to attenuate something. I'm not saying give up, like, throw up your hands all the time. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is be clever enough to understand what metrics and what outputs you're looking for. And if your business is giving you different outputs, then understand why they're giving you different outputs and figure out a way to mend the situation. Yeah. But if you're going to be, like I said, this hustle, this, hustle mindset, entrepreneur mindset, me, I never give up. This Gary V is nice. Yeah. All this hustle mindset.
Small doses.
Like, just be wise enough to realize that you're the first one to do what you're doing. There are no role models. Like, don't be lied to. There are no role models. Me and Eli, when we started Mantalk, when we took over Mantalk, when we started it, me and him have been learning on the job. There's no business book I have read. Show me all of the business books. I've read a lot. There's no business book I've read that can tell you to do the things that me and him are doing now. Have no doubt about it. And like, I think that's the biggest quote I can give you, actually. When I was younger, I put that clip at the end of this video. I asked Jack Ma a question. I told him, when he was here, because at that time I was doing the ticketing business thing that I just told you guys. So and Alex, my very good friend, and his mom got us into the Jack Ma University of Nairobi auditorium. Shout out to Alex and his family. I love them all very much. And I was sitting there as one of the entrepreneurs with Alex, because at that time that's what we were working on together. And I raised my hand and I asked him, what can Kenya do to run, to catch up when it comes to the technology business and the software business in relation to the world? Because we're hearing about Google, we're hearing about all these big companies. What do Kenyans need to do? And you know what Jack Ma told me? There is no right answer. There is no answer. Do it, and then let the people in school write the books. So you have to do it so they can write the books. Don't go out here looking, use social media, reading business books, thinking that your business is going to be a direct. Fine, you might get some value here and there, but every business story is unique. Every business story is unique. Like, and that's something as an entrepreneur you have to understand. If you're going to be so like, guys, let's keep going, and you're doing something that's wrong, have the sense to go, maybe this is not the right thing for me. Let me figure out a way. If I have a team I trust, is it the team that's, be pragmatic enough to go, is it the team? If it's not the team, okay, what is it? Is it how am I'm approaching the business. Okay, is it me who's mishandling the financials? Have I equipped myself enough leadership and enough strategic vision to actually tackle the issue? If you're not going to be like that in business, imagine you will just, it's a journey to the bottom.
Yeah.
So we'll put that clip at the end of this.
We'll put that clip. Yeah. That's that's really valuable, super valuable. And like, I feel like some of the things we're mentioning now is even outside of business, just L's in general in life, L's in like relationship, L's in like fitness, L's in your mental stability. Like it's all part of it. Like I think it's all part of it. So some of these things that we've equated to business, you can equate it to other areas of your life and also laugh about it. And with the business, the final thing I would say is like, by the way, you don't have to be a businessman. Like, that internet things, everyone has to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes it's not that serious. Like you don't have to do it. Like it's not a must.
It's not a must.
But yeah, I hope through us being okay with sharing our L's, there's so many more, but this is a podcast that runs on time, and time is expensive, and so is yours. So
so is yours.
So is yours. So I think we'll leave it there. But I really hope that through us being able to be honest with our L's, that you'll understand that even when you see somebody that you love that does something you love, they go through the same things you go through. Learn from people, extract value, but never glorify them because they're going through the same struggles. Like we are going through the same struggles that you are going through.
You have no idea.
Everyone that you're looking at on the internet is going through certain version of a struggle that you're going through. But they say that innovation comes from necessity. So sometimes like you're going through something so that you can imagine something and make a solution to that problem. That's what I would say. Yes. So accept your L's.
A very pragmatic view
always
on entrepreneurship.
Yes. So be honest with your L's, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast half as much
as we enjoyed making it,
because we had a ball.
Yes, Mr. Evangelist,
come on, my fellow evangelist. Won't he do it? We'll see you next week. Peace.